Alright, so this is another comic book adaptation type story, but this is going to be a little different because it's not so much based off of like a major story arc, it's more just based off of a classic story. And that is Alan Moore's For the Man Who Had Everything. This, of course, is I could say one of the best Superman stories ever written. For those who probably know it best, you probably are more aware of its adaptation in Justice League Unlimited, which even Alan Moore had said this is his favorite. Like, he's hated all of his other works being adapted into movies and whatnot, but he's come out and said that this is by far the best adaptation of any of his work. And then again, who knows? Maybe Alan Moore was feeling kind that day, or maybe Alan Moore, like, his soul was off in the ether and his body was left with its own devices. Who knows? Anyway, so let's get started with this story. So this basically takes place on... this basically starts off in Amity Park. Almost said Amityville. In Amity Park, where it's Danny's birthday. And some of his superhero friends have arrived to show up and wish him a happy birthday. And those two being Jenny, XJ9, and Randy, the ninja. So Randy and Jenny go into the Fenton's home to wish, their super friend a good birthday. And I want to have like this fun back and forth where like Jenny asks him, so what did you get? She asks Randy, so what did you get Danny? And he's like, it's a gift card. And he's like, really? Out of all the things, he saved your life, and you just get him like a $10 gift card. He's like, it's not it's like a $10 gift card to like expensive coffee. That's it? You got him a $10 Starbucks gift card? That's all you could get him? Seriously? You're cheap. And Randy's like, look, dude, I don't make a lot of money. Just... it's not a contest, okay? What did you get? And he's like, what did you get her? What did you get him, Jenny? And she's like, oh, I got him I got him some new tech upgrades for his suit. So now it's actually more like malleable in the ghost zone. And he's like, oh, fuck, it's really cool. So they go in there and they're already like they already realize something is up, like something has gone horribly wrong already. Basically what has happened is that no one's home. Like, everyone thought it's supposed to be the birthday party here, so why is everyone gone? And the whole Fenton building is empty. It's straight up empty. And then they go down to the labs and discover that Danny is down there in like a trance with this large, strange plant-like entity wrapped around him. Jenny immediately goes to like try to rip it off, and Randy's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I think that's connected to him. If we try to rip it off, we don't know what we're gonna do. So, yeah. So, Randy and Jenny are trying to figure out what happened, and that's when the Fright Knight shows up. So the Fright Knight comes out, and he's like, hey, so, yeah, this is called the Black Mercy. It's a rare plant-like entity from the Ghost Zone. I brought it here to take out Danny because he was my only real threat. So you two are no threats to me. I mean, you're a robot and a woman, so you're obviously no threat to me. And you're a kid in pajamas. I have no problem with you. Obviously, he's being a total dick, so he's saying all this shit. And Fright Knight is just basically like, look, none of you are a threat to me. Danny was the only one. Now that he's off the board, the Black Mercy will take care of him. The only question I have left is, which one of you do I kill first? To which Jenny punches him in the face, and he's like, thanks for volunteering. So Jenny and the Fright Knight fight it out, and meanwhile Randy's is left to try to figure out how to remove the Black Mercy from Danny. So obviously, you have to ask, like, what is Danny dreaming about? Like, what is going on in his head? So the fantasy that Danny is given by the Black Mercy is one where he's older. He's now married to Sam and has a son. They have a baby, like a young son, and about 10 years 9-10 years old, and Danny doesn't have powers. He's also a astronaut in training, because that was always his dream, to be an astronaut. He always wanted to like go out into outer space and pilot a shuttle. So he's training to be an astronaut in this universe. And also in this fantasy version, Danny's parents are divorced because the whole ghost thing in this fantasy, it never turned out. Like, there were no ghosts, and while Jack wanted to keep peering into the veil, Maddie was like, I can't take it. It's either we pay the bills or hunt ghosts. We can't pick one or the other. So they're divorced, and Jack is left alone, and Danny's trying to reach out to him, but Jack's so far gone, like, mentally, it's not even, like, okay. But he's married to Sam. He stays in touch with his sister and his mom, and in the words of the comic, he is content. Meanwhile, outside in the real world, Fright Knight is kicking the shit out of Jenny, who is using all kinds of weaponry against him in the Fenton vault. So she pulls out a weapon, and he's like, "Oh, is that the Fenton's neural impactor? I didn't know they had that anymore. You might want to try the ecto-neuralizer. It's more of a woman's weapon." And she just blasts him, and he just takes it, kicks the shit out of her. Meanwhile, Randy is trying to still desperately figure out how to get the damn thing off of Danny, and then he realizes, oh, I know, maybe if I just yank on it long enough, maybe I can just pull it apart. So Randy starts pulling at it, and more of Danny's reality comes apart. Like, in his fantasy world, the test run for the shuttle it goes off, and it fails miserably and kills the crew while Danny was watching in horror. Also, his father is now like joining a far-right political group that is like endorsing terrorism. It's all coming apart bad. So that's kind of what's going on in Danny's fantasy world. It's all coming apart until, like, eventually Danny goes out with his son, heads out with his son, who's named Nathan. He goes out into, like, just an open field, and he's like, and Nathan's like, "Why'd we come here, Daddy?" And Danny goes, "Well, Nate, I was there when you were born. I raised you for 10 years. We've been the most wonderful thing. But God help me, I don't think you're real. I don't think any of this is real." And he's like, "No, you're scaring me, Daddy," and everything's coming apart, and Danny's like holding on to his, he's like, "I know, just hold on to me," and everything, he breaks out of it. The Black Mercy gets off of Danny and onto Randy, and Randy's whole fantasy is that he's no longer the ninja. He's actually restarted, he may no longer be the ninja, but he is like the Grandmaster, and he, along with Alia, have restarted the Nosu clan in Norrisville, and like protect it and have just a family, and and he's happy. He's just happy of having a family with a woman he loves. And the thing is that Danny like yanks the thing off, or just rips it off of Randy, and tosses the Black Mercy aside. He's like, "Who did this to me?" And Randy's only reaction is Fright Knight. And Danny blasts after Fright Knight, grabs him right before he does the killing blow on Jenny, and just starts beating the shit out of him. And he's like, "Do you have any idea what you did to me?" Fright Knight's like, "Oh, I gave you a fantasy you never wanted to leave. It must have been like tearing off your arm. Happy birthday, half-breed. I give you oblivion." And to which Danny responds with, "Freeze." And he just, instead of course he doesn't have heat vision, he just uses his frost vision and just starts blasting him. So he is just beating the shit out of Fright Knight until, like, Jenny arrives, and the Black Mercy doesn't recognize Jenny because she's inorganic, and is like, "Ahem, this belongs to you." Throws it on the Black Mercy on Fright Knight. It attaches to him, and Danny throws his ass back into the ghost zone. So yeah. The story just ends with Randy like tentatively handing him the gift card, and Danny's like, "Thanks, man." He's like, "So what did you see in that fantasy world?" And he's like, it doesn't matter. It wasn't real, man. So, yeah. So there you go, guys. That is pretty much my version of For the Man Who Has Everything. Could you see this adapted in the Infinity Verse? Maybe. Who knows? Anyway, so you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of it? Like it, hate it, comment below, let me know. If you haven't already, go check out the link below to my Patreon. I just posted my review for Scream 5. I know it's called Scream, it's called Scream, but by God, I'm calling it Scream 5. Anyway, other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.